Activate.
All right, everybody.
Kelly
Welcome.
looks great.
Yeah, I do, don't I?
You look great.
I got my shirt on from my sis, which is Bigfoot and Nessie 24.
Yeah.
Oh, they're running.
Yes, they're
Okay.
running. Yes.
That's good to know.
They're a ticket. They are.
They
a
might not
ticket.
even be a felon yet.
Anyway, welcome to This Pink Cloud. We are a show that is about multiple pathways to recovery and mental health and all that good stuff. I am super excited today. I don't know if you could tell I'm a little jazzed up, dude. Ow, ow.
I'm about to rip my hair out.
Anyway, it's always nice
What's
to
your name, dude?
What's
What's your name?
Oh yeah, I'm Kelly Reverb. There we go.
I'm so excited I forgot my name.
That's right. Sitting next to me, as always, my bestest buddy, the guy that has the most resentment for me, Chad LeMans, everybody.
Those normally are both the same thing.
Right.
Hey,
everybody.
I hate Kelly. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys, I hate
Hey,
Kelly.
good to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in to our show. If you like it, please hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave a comment as to...
And leave a real comment, not being some bot that's like, "Ooh, I like podcast. Ooh, you talk about great stuff."
All right.
You know what I mean?
All right, so,
Anyways.
dude, I am so excited to have this guy on. It's been a long time, but he was the original co-host of the show. I went to Summer Sky with this guy. I went to rehab with this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nolen Millender, a.k.a. the Professor, everybody.
Oh, that's right. The Professor. I've
The
heard
Professor,
that in a while.
yeah, dude. Well, I
With
mean,
my multiple degrees that
no,
worked really hard for.
It was we were in rehab, and we obviously didn't have phones, computer access, all that.
I wonder why they
stuff.
take that stuff from him.
I don't know. Maybe somebody's plug is going to show up, or
No, I think it's just for cruelty.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think so, dude. So obviously we didn't have any resource for knowledge, and. Nolen over here was the data bank, and he's bilingual. He's bilingual as well.
Well, okay.
But he look,
People that speak Spanish might disagree with you.
he was the smartest guy in the room intellectually.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Intellectually,
Pride Month, right? So that's good to be bilingual.
right?
Smartest
That's really
guy at
accepted
the
by
rehab.
humanity.
But so
Cutest
then,
guy on the cell block.
There you go.
but so like I would always, like, somebody would ask a question and I would say, ask the professor. So that's how that came about.
It is true. My brain is like a steel trap for
Right.
useless trivia-like information.
Right.
Which is useful during trivia.
Yeah, that's
Right.
about it.
But no. But you use like good $20 words like anhedonia. Like I heard
Close,
that.
anhedonia.
See, there we go.
Kelly
See,
still
I
can't
need
get it.
him. I need him here.
And it is a good word to know
Right.
for someone like me who's going to experience anhedonia
Right.
apparently multiple times in my life. I like to keep going back to that one.
Right. Well, let's catch up. So
Okay.
I've been a complete success since rehab. and Nolan, I'm just fucking with you. But no.
Well,
so I mean, you've
that's
gone.
a fucking clip right there, dude. That's a clip right there.
But so yeah. So here's how it goes down.
Okay.
You and I become friends.
Yeah.
Then I was like, my sister was doing a podcast at Studio X or whatever.
Venture
it was
X.
Venture X. And so we had time and, where we could shoot. And then I was like, hey, you want to do this? Because, I could speak to alcohol and the nose nachos all day.
Nose nachos.
Nose nachos.
Shout out Dusty Burrows for sending us that. dude.
Nose nacho. It's new to me.
When those nose nachos got you on window duty.
Dude, I assume we're talking about drugs, but I keep picturing him trying to snort nachos.
Oh, man. We should share the link to that.
But so okay, so yeah, so we're in rehab.
Yeah.
I gravitated to you. I would say
Yeah, we
you
hung
were-
out.
Yeah, and
We
there
had a
was
good time
like,
in there, as good a time as you can have.
I
in
mean,
there.
but there was like a little clique, and you have the people that you would actually outside potentially hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would consider you and then EJ, some of those people amongst those people.
I would actually, that's one of the cool things about rehab and I guess really just recovery in general is you do meet people and find out you have a lot in common with people that you probably wouldn't meet anywhere else.
Yep.
Well,
and the thing about the professor over here is he presents like, when he cleans up, when he actually shaves and stuff. But no, you're like Mr. Concierge, Mr.
Well, it's funny you say concierge. I spent a lot of time in the service industry,
right?
Hospitality
Well, and that's why
specifically,
I said it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
but then you are also Mr. Heroin Addict behind the CVS, 110 pounds, and you
I
couldn't.
might have made it down to 110 at one point.
Right?
112 was the lowest the scale ever showed.
And you could not, you had to live in a tent because the guy would not let you stay in his RV. Correct?
Yeah, he didn't trust me
Right.
to be anywhere near anything that he owned.
Right.
Which was smart.
Sure. And so this, I guess that was like kind of your backstory before I knew you. And then once, we hung out and we did this show for, I don't know, you were on it for like, what, 10 episodes?
That's about right, probably. 10, 15, I would say, is probably the most.
Right.
Somewhere in there, 10, 15.
And so then...
The first 10 or 15.
So basically...
Co-founder.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Change that to co-founder.
Co-founder of the show, yeah, exactly. But so then, like, you actually had what they call a rehab romance.
Yeah, I did. I guess I'm still having a rehab romance.
Well, and that's kind of
one could
crazy
say.
Because
it's very crazy.
Well,
considering
because you actually
my madness
have a child with your rehab romance, which we will call her EJ for right now.
Sure, yeah.
And then also she has maintained her sobriety.
She has, yep.
Throughout the process, and it was July 2020 is what I call my sobriety day, and it's hers as well. She was there like
creeping up on 4 years.
Yeah, and likewise, but. This whole time while y'all are navigating romance and having children, you're in and out, dude. So
in and out, yeah, in and out.
Let's give a little backstory.
Sure.
You're the guy that I heard this the first time. You are addicted to more.
Sure, yeah, more. Well, so I guess I've got favorites. Everybody's got favorites,
Right.
If we're picking out my favorites, opioids, anything that does that has probably been the one that has caused me the most trouble. Probably cocaine number 2, and then alcohol number 3, and everything else has been a little bit easier to take or leave, as they say.
Right.
But those 3 tend to latch on and stick against my will for.
Sure.
Who knows how long?
And you are the type of personality, and I know this because I've seen it firsthand, that will pick up a pill off the ground and go, "Oh, I'm going to look this up," but then I'm going to look this up after it goes in my mouth.
Well, I think I've gotten a little wiser as I'm older, but there certainly my youth. Well, you know what? Pills were probably my first addiction.
Yeah,
actually.
Well, I mean, the reason why I say that,
I know why you say
it. Because we're out at the studio in Frisco. Dusty has a bunch of really cool T-shirts that he's getting rid of. A lot of soccer gear, a lot of soccer jerseys, stuff like that. Well, apparently like a Mexican Viagra popped out and was like on the ground, and I didn't even notice it. But then the professor over here picked it up and said, "Oh, I'm gonna look that up."
Yeah, I have a radar for that stuff. I bet I could probably, like, if the room was dark, probably have found it just with my senses somehow. But yeah, no, I don't know what it is. If we want to go way back, I've never said no to to a drug. I've never seen one that I didn't think was going to be awesome and a great idea at the time. It's just not something. I have always loved the idea that there are things in the world I can put into my body that create some kind of effect.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I guess that's just always been something that I gravitated to. But yeah, to kind of go through the backstory, yeah, we met in rehab almost 4 years ago now. And I maintained sobriety after that stint in rehab for a little while. I want to say about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. It was somewhere in there.
Yeah. Because I remember when I got the first call from EJ.
Yeah, which
Hey,
still
have you seen Nolen?
which still to this day in in the 4 years that we've known each other, that was the longest period I've been able to put together.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And since then it's been a pretty continual cycle of I'll put together a little time either after maybe a treatment center if I'm lucky. And if I'm unlucky, I've locked myself in a hotel room and, went through the fun opiate detox for a week and actually pulled it off. And then I'll, maybe I get 3 months if I'm lucky. Maybe I get 3 days.
Right.
Who knows? But it's, I don't really know what the reasons are for that other than...
Well, I mean, you do have, and I mean, we don't have to talk about
other
it, but
than
you
it's
do
very
have,
addictive.
No, but you do have some PTSD, some, a history of like abuse, in the history. So, I mean, is that something you've ever dealt with therapy wise?
No, I've done some work. So most of my stuff, is not really like a childhood thing. I think a lot of people, have some sort of childhood issues, trauma from childhood, and then that ends up triggering into addiction and helps makes you gravitate towards that, and you see that a lot,
right?
When talking to people in recovery. But mine wasn't so much from childhood as much as it was from addiction. Really, I was never like a tough guy or somebody who was really into all that stuff, but I found myself in violent, scary circles and places and, witnessing things that I probably have not, maybe been able to come to terms with or shake or whatever,
Sure.
And I think it... there's also just I think it's more about the damage that I've done in my addiction and not cleaning that up and not feeling great about it, or at least coming to a place where I feel like, that's something that I can clean up at a certain point. I do have a child with EJ,
right,
who was also in Summer Sky with us, and has stayed
y'all
sober.
were, y'all were Ken and Barbie there. y'all were, and then the king and queen of cornhole as well.
We played cornhole the other day.
The naturals,
and I beat her.
Right.
But there was I do have children from a previous marriage, and
by the way, I'm going to cut that. I beat her. I'm going to edit that. Like, it'll be good.
Yeah, and from previous marriage, and there was a lot of damage there from
well, I remember you were in rehab, at rehab, and you were going through the nasty divorce.
Yeah, I got served divorce papers in rehab.
Yeah.
It's as good a place as any to get them, I guess.
Sure. And then obviously you were like, next.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my plan going in or anything.
Well, yeah, but y'all had issues in your relationship, and it was a long time coming. It seems like
sure,
that it was
that's all true.
on the way down.
Yeah, but it was all addiction,
Right?
I mean, it's just
the
stuff that comes with that.
To let people know how deep this addiction goes for you, and I find it compelling because you are really, how they said, the sobriety thing is by any lengths necessary or any means necessary.
Yeah.
But Nolen will do
good
that.
Analogy.
Nolen will do that for drugs, straight up.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
I'm somebody who has, tried anything that I could come up with to get sober and stay sober.
Right.
And I've also tried anything I could come up with to use and keep it a secret.
Right.
And keep it manageable.
Sure. Yeah.
Not let the wheels fall off. That's the goal. That's always the goal.
Isn't the goal always to just get there?
The goal is to to get where in the pocket that I enjoy apparently,
Sure.
which is under the influence, and not have any damage from it.
Right.
You don't want to. Nobody wants to get. Nobody wants to live in a tent behind CVS.
Sure.
Nobody wants to take it to a smaller thing. Nobody even wants to lie to their children or their loved ones. But but you do it. You do it because you've got to keep.
Yeah, you've got to keep.
You got to keep the thing going. You got to keep.
Some of the things that the links you've gone to try to circumnavigate the system, so to speak, would be, there was Imodium, and
going with this one.
Yeah, please.
This fascinates Kelly.
No, it really does.
It really does
because it is fascinating. I've never heard of anyone else until I looked it up.
Yeah, and I hesitate to talk about it sometimes because I don't want it to be common knowledge for people out there.
Right.
I really don't because I also understand the mind of a drug addict.
Look, okay, but it's okay. First off, the episode will not be how to get high still.
Yeah. No,
okay?
but we can talk about
promise it won't be that. And the people that are watching this, this is
no, but I found out about it, so other people can find out about
it's on the internet already.
Yeah. It's so part of it is the kind of brain I have. I like to look stuff up and know things.
Right.
That's part of it.
Right.
But yeah, I think when you're in the middle of an opiate detox, it doesn't feel very good.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself willing to do just about anything to not feel that way.
Right. Chad can relate too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
And, and that's where it started, where I discovered that Imodium in large quantities can
take the edge off.
Take the edge off. Yeah, it can produce an opiate effect.
Uh-huh.
It will cross the blood-brain barrier. It will also stop your heart.
Right.
It will cause toxicity in your body. And give you heart tremors
because
and heart attacks.
It's meant to stop any kind of party you have going on.
The realistic thing is almost anything you can die from toxicity if you take enough of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Enough of it. The recommended dose is 2, do not exceed 6 in a day.
Right.
And I'm taking 75.
Right.
If I take 75 extra strength Tylenols, we're going to have to go somewhere to deal with that.
Sure.
Because it's
and no one's having at least an NDE.
Yeah. That's where I came across the information, was trying to get out of an opiate detox or something, I think.
Right.
But yeah, it's just.
And then the questions that I had was how do you afford that many Imodium?
Yeah.
So,
well, like I said, I stole it. primarily.
Right.
Steal it, and then
That guy, the people at the counter are like, man, that guy must really got a shit.
that's primarily why I stole it.
Right.
Because I did not want to walk up to a counter
what?
and look at someone
go,
buying that much Imodium.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised that hasn't.
Dignity. Trying to maintain my dignity.
The guy at the counter just
Damn
like,
it.
I understand, brother.
I've been there before.
Been there, done that.
He's like
might wanna
going
get-
through the transaction as fast as possible for me. Where I gotta go.
Right.
So you need the keys to the bathroom?
Yeah. You need some help to your car, maybe? I don't even know.
Can't go here, brother.
Hey,
Shitter's full.
Hey, by the way, it depends on me, brother.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Though? It's amazing. I would.
Okay, so how long? I knew that was coming. How long of a period can you take Imodium and get high off of it and not die from toxicity? Like
How long can you?
How long did you then? Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, how long can you? I don't know. Roll the dice with your life and
Right.
see what happens.
But how long did you
How many times can you win at Russian roulette?
right?
3 for you, 1 for you,
Yeah.
7 for me.
Well, how long did you
How long did I? That's
successfully
successfully.
Navigate Imodium
It
addiction.
didn't feel like success. Still
Right.
doesn't. But anyways, I don't know, a couple of months.
Really?
Yeah, 2-3 months.
So
at
you're
most.
talking 75 to 100 Imodium a day.
For probably about 6-8 weeks. Yeah, something like that. I think.
And I was going to say holy shit, but
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
yeah.
More like hold the shit.
Well, still go to the bathroom. Find, got to make sure that happens too. But
Right.
no, it 6-8
It's amazing
weeks.
you didn't have like an impacted bowel.
That stuff can happen too.
Yeah.
From taking that much. I tried to drink as much water as I could.
Right.
During that time.
Be responsible.
Yeah, you got to take care of your health.
I was eating strictly vegan.
You got to take care of your
water.
health. Some high fiber in there. Oh man. It is funny.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
one of the. That's
I can-
crazy though.
I
It's
can
the same
laugh
thing.
about it, but I'll tell you what: if you go on the internet and look it up, there's hundreds of people, probably thousands, maybe tens of thousands in the country right now.
I'm surprised.
And
that-
I'll tell you something:
Yeah.
it's an awful addiction.
Oh yeah.
The withdrawals are terrible.
Well, so
Terrible.
okay, so
The worst.
What are they?
They are worse.
Let's
than,
hear it.
They are worse than methadone. They are worse than heroin. They're the worst withdrawals I've ever been through in my life.
Okay, so what did you experience?
Well, it's opiate withdrawal
Okay.
cranked up very high.
Okay.
So the same withdrawal as a heroin detox or something like that. Same feeling, coupled with a whole lot of stomach issues, a lot of stomach pain, whole lot of stomach pain.
But
It lasts. I never saw it all the way through to the end, but it's 30, 45 days you're going to go through.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Well, and I saw you because I remember in rehab you were going, oh, dude, I got some, my stomach's like,
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I have some stomach issues from the way I've treated my body.
Right.
But
Welcome. Me too.
Yeah.
Right.
I get by. It's okay. It helps to not continue to treat my body terribly.
Right. But
Once
look
I
at
clean up and try and
Chad's
take care of
got
it,
the
it gets better.
chemical burns to prove how hardcore he went, dude. I'm surprised that you don't really have any.
I've got a couple little spots, but
Right.
I never.
Mostly south of the equator, right underneath, right by my chode, brother.
You should see Machungus.
Oh man.
No, I tried to stay away from anything that was too going to permanently scar me. I guess I don't know. I got
Right.
lucky. But no, it's like to the Imodium thing. I guess to wrap that up.
It's not going to get wrapped up.
I hope it does. I'd like to move on. Well, it's like anything in addiction.
Right. Well, people are addicted to eating cotton balls.
Sure.
Weird,
That
stuff like
But
yeah.
It's like anything in addiction. The first time you do it, the second time you do it, there's certainly a little battle that takes place in your mind, and you're like, I'm not sure if this is smart. This is, this is dumb. This is not me. This is not how I am. Whatever.
Right.
But it's like this thing. I heard it described once pretty well, which is, there's all these lines that you say you're never going to cross, and then you cross it, and you sort of look back at the line, and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And there you go.
Right. Just keep on drawing.
And you just keep doing that after every line.
Yeah. Right.
And before you know it, you're living in a tent behind CVS.
Right.
We just keep coming back there. I mean,
right.
It's got even worse than that on many occasions. But anyways, whatever the circumstance is,
right.
You're in a spot where you don't even recognize the person you are.
Right.
You've done things to people that you care about that you would never thought you'd done.
Sure.
And you can't find a way out. It's a bad deal.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens.
Well, that's why, your situation is so, like mesmerizing to me, because you are so intelligent, like, generally, but then, addiction is just, it's like you're too smart. You like outsmart yourself, in your,
That's one of like the main things that people exhibit when they have like serious drug addictions, not just like alcoholism, because we all know alcoholics are the worst.
Yeah, that's right.
The worst, Kelly. But it's like that intelligence, like everything's boring, everything you can figure out, you can circumvent, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, let me try doing one drug, and then you're like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad, just like you said.
Yeah, and I think a big part of recovery is putting aside your own judgment for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you think you should be doing, how you think your life should go, whatever. Set that to the side for a little bit, and let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Get you a foundation, and then whatever. And that's hard to do for intelligent people often.
Right.
You see that a lot in recovery. That
look at Nolen just took that label right up. Oh, that's hard. That's hard. That's hard for intelligent
people of my for people like me who understand that 75 diarrhea pills a day will produce an effect.
Well, okay, so we will
just like I said, smart people,
right? Yeah. Well, we will get off the Imodium for a second, but I do have a question. So you know how like they've taken Sudafed and they have it locked up.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure they'll do that
surprised they haven't done that with the Imodium.
Well, once it becomes a big enough problem, they'll do that at a certain point. And
is Coracetin locked up now?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
What is that?
That's what they call triple C's, and that's another one you have to take like, it tells you to take like
copious
2
amounts,
but you take like, and then you take like 24 or 48 of them, dude, and then you're just like
trip out.
Yeah, drunker than shit while you're hallucinating. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it'll probably end up, behind it. They've done some things like they used to sell them in giant, 1,000 count bottles.
Yeah, like Tums.
100 count bottles.
Like Tums.
And now I know they've
guys
now
at the counter, dude.
moved them to smaller packages. And,
right.
Like the most you can buy at once is 24 or something per package.
Right.
Oh, man.
So they are aware of it. They're doing little things, but big Imodium.
Dude,
goddamn big pharma.
Big Imodium won't let you.
Dude, I can just see.
They're a powerful lobby.
I can see the back of Nolan's car is like full of like McDonald's bags and Imodium wrappers.
Blister packs everywhere.
Yeah, blister packs
tell you what.
everywhere. Dude, yeah. But I mean, have you ever done, is there any other things that like, besides like Imodium that like you've tried to that isn't the normal?
Well, kratom, I guess people have heard of that. I assume.
Well, now I hear kratom is very. I mean, it's legal, but it's very sketchy.
Okay, here's the thing about
let's hear it.
kratom. I got a gripe with it.
Yeah,
it's illegal in the place that it fucking comes from.
Yeah,
it's illegal
the place
in Indonesia.
That's dealt with it the longest,
and they're like, no, don't do this here. It's illegal there, and you can fucking. There was a counselor at my work. He's like, you could literally buy a plate of food that has a pile of shit on it, and you could buy that in Indonesia, but they won't sell kratom. It's illegal. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. Kratom's a bad deal. If you read, I saw somewhere online once, it was like oh, it's like a coffee plant. It's just a derivative of coffee.
Right. Hey, real quick, we're gonna because I want to get into the whole Matt thing and get your point of view on that. But commercial now.
Woo!
Wee! We've got our good friend Max the Axe with Lone Star Injury Attorneys. If you go to thispinklawyer.com, it will take you to Lone Star Injury Attorneys. He practices in Texas and California, and he will get you the maximum results for your personal injury needs.
And because his name is Max.
That's right, Max.
And he's an axe.
Hey, and then so we have a new sponsor, and it is actually Sheila Williamson, Chad LeMans' mom. She has a book,
LeMans. And here we
phone call as a parent that your son has been hit by a car and is being life flighted.
2 hours before we got the call, Chad had called me to tell me it was the best day of his life. And then I get another call, and a stranger had found him, and they were care flighting him to a trauma unit, and that he would start praying for our family that we needed to hurry.
You know, when you wake up on the operating table and they're like, we're going to cut off both your legs. And then I wake up and then one's gone, the other one's in an external rod system. It's just not good. The real kicker is that I've had like all of these scars all over my arms, and that's all from complications resulting from drug abuse.
I never thought about giving up on him. Never. This is my son, and I know he's going to be okay. You cannot just have help for the addict. You have to seek out professional help. The whole family has been affected.
And I just want to make that very clear to anybody who's out there listening, that if I can do this thing as much as I've been through, man, there's a lot of wiggle room for people before they get to that point where they can do it too.
All right. And we are back, but we
that
also
is twocalls.org for anybody interested, and then they can go there, buy the book or whatever.
Now
they can ask us to
now
speak.
that Chad put himself almost in tears from watching.
Yeah, dude, that was tough.
I mean, no, that's rough. That's rough.
But you were about to just go straight into the Madonna remix.
No. I was going to actually talk about that y'all are doing speaking engagements.
Oh, okay.
And the book is available. I'm setting you up, Chad.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey, Chad. Hey, Chad. Why don't you tell them folks about your book and that y'all speak out there?
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Hey, man. Thank you. Yeah, so the book is kind of sad. It's about sad stuff. It almost made me cry just watching the little clip that I made earlier. But yeah, we do speaking stuff, and then
speaking stuff. Way to go, dude.
I got up there and I'm like, "Hey, man, here to speak about stuff." And she says a bunch of stuff, and I say a bunch of stuff, and it's pretty cool. So that's twocalls.org. You can reach us at the emails Sheila or Chad at twocalls.org.
All right, cool. And then we also have some music. We normally play 2 songs, but we're just going to play one. And this actually comes out the 27th of June.
Yep.
And I'm excited about it. It's actually a Madonna cover, dude.
Oh.
Guy used a fancy new program.
That's a fancy new program he used on that clip right there. Please comment on the video and tell us about how you say I really like host because they talk about good stuff.
Yes, they speak stuff.
They speak stuff.
They speak good. I like wow.
I like material.
I like wow.
I like material hosts talk about.
But anyway, yeah, so we've got a bunch of free downloads also if you go to SoundCloud /Kelly or SoundCloud.com /Kelly Reverb. There's all our free remixes, and then look us up on Spotify, Apple Music, all that, and it'll be very exciting. I'm excited for that to come out. I think that's going to do well.
I think
it's summertime vibes. I think the chicks will like it. I mean, it had you tucking your wiener.
How do you know what chicks like?
You were doing the Buffalo Bill over there, dude. The goodbye horses.
Oh man!
But
Dude, wait till we put out the Goodbye Horses remix, dude. There's gonna be a whole lot of dick tucks going on, dude.
No, it's called Wiener Tuck.
We should have our own show
called
called
Wiener
Dick Tuck on FX instead of Nip Tuck.
You should actually just go by Dick Tuck.
Richard Tuck, dude.
It's actually the first video ever to get 0 views.
No, dude, I guarantee you, if you named a video Dick Tuck, it would go viral, dude. I guarantee it.
No one's ever made it past the 4-second marker.
It's that meat spin, dude. Do you remember that?
Meat spin?
Meat
What
spin.
the fuck is that?
Dude, they had the song you spin me right round, baby, right round, right. But it was a trance with just a helicopter wiener going on, and it was you would trick your friend and go, hey, go to meatspin.com, dude.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, God. Or like lemonparty.org, dude, which if you want to go there.
I don't condone any of these websites. We're going to be associated with meat spin.
Somebody sent me one time. It was like Floyd Mayweather found dead.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
And it's just like this Irish guy with his dick out, just like laying there. Oh, man. I was like, fuck. I sent it to Kelly, but he wouldn't open it.
Yeah.
Tricked again.
I know better. But, all right. So, now that the mentality in the room
Reel it back in.
has gone down to the 4th grade level,
A bunch
which
of
we
dicks,
like
dude.
to keep
Just
it
talking
here.
about nothing but dick.
Anyway, so let's talk about Matt.
Okay.
So, Matt, your standpoint on Matt was anti-Matt.
Standpoint. Yeah.
No,
well,
but kind of anti-Matt in the beginning.
What is Matt for the
So
people
yeah,
that know?
let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
medicated assisted treatment is what MAT stands for, or medicated assisted therapy. You'll hear it either. But basically, it's the idea that either as a bridge to permanent full sobriety, or permanently on
Uh,
a medication, you can take something instead of
Your
shooting
desire.
heroin
Yeah.
into your body or whatever else. And then this is a medication that, you can legally take and not ruin your life kind of idea. So my standpoint on it standpoint has always been, dude, do whatever you want to do,
right? Do whatever works for you.
Yeah. I don't really get in the business of telling other people their business.
Right.
But for me, and I really wanted, full on permanent sobriety on nothing. I
Right.
I just really wanted that.
Sure. And I think everybody wants that. Like,
Sure.
To
Well, and part of that was because I had it for a long time, right? Very.
when did you have that for a long time?
I had 7 years clean.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, and that was when you had the kid with first marriage.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was clean from about 25 to 32
Okay.
years old.
Right.
Yeah, and I wanted to get back there, and I felt like it was possible, so I didn't want to go down the MAT road, and really, there's about 2 choices for an opiate addict when it comes to MAT. There's methadone and Suboxone, buprenorphine.
Right.
Is the medical term for Suboxone, but those are your 2 choices,
And
both of
Suboxone
those,
is ceiling, right? And
yeah,
Okay.
they work slightly differently.
sure. Well, why don't you tell antagonist? Yeah.
Sure.
Tell 'em.
Okay, so methadone's been around longer than Suboxone, and methadone is what you call a full agonist. If how they chemically work, full agonist opioid, like heroin, hydrocodone.
Okay.
Whatever.
And when you say agonist, what does
What
that
that
mean?
means is it goes into your body, gets into your system, and when it gets to your brain to give you the effect or whatever, it attaches to opiate receptors in your brain and activates those receptors fully.
Okay.
It's a full agonist.
Yeah.
They fully activate those receptors.
And it also has a much higher binding affinity, correct?
Yes, than
Most other opiates.
Yeah, than most other opiates, except buprenorphine.
Yeah.
So that's a good lead into buprenorphine. Buprenorphine or Suboxone is a partial agonist. So when it goes into your body and attaches to those receptors, it only partially activates those receptors. The only difference between what that what that means for the person taking them is a couple of things. One, methadone will, the more you take, the more effect you will get.
Right.
With Suboxone, that is not the case. There's a certain amount.
24 milligrams.
Well,
Well,
And
that's
you-
different for different people.
And you put it to me like it was like for an alcoholic, it was like drinking 3 beers and then you weren't going to get any more drunk than
Yeah, different for different people.
Sure.
What their ceiling will be, because everybody's got a different body. you
Right.
know. But somewhere at some point, there is not going to be any more effect. If you took 10 strips of Suboxone, it might feel the exact same as one. for you.
yeah.
Right.
It's just the length of time, the duration of it would be much longer.
Yeah, it is even your sister longer
Yeah.
because you just put more in. But yeah, so it has a ceiling effect, buprenorphine. Mm-hmm. And it's preferred to methadone a lot of times because it's very hard to overdose on something that has a ceiling effect.
If you have an opioid tolerance, with no opioid tolerance, it is very easy to overdose.
Oh yeah, just somebody coming clear blue into taking either
Right.
of those.
Take,
Methadone,
take a
going
fucking
to-
fraction of a milligram on that
I'm
stuff.
going
and
to
do not
take that.
start on Suboxone.
All right, well, they'll probably
Right.
kill you.
They do not do that.
Yeah.
Tolerance to there's a whole we could talk for hours
Yeah.
on tolerance.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so for those two though, methadone and buprenorphine, those are kind of the differences. Buprenorphine has a very, very high affinity, higher even than methadone. That's why there's often you hear precipitated withdrawals and things like that when it comes to buprenorphine. That high affinity is what can cause those precipitated withdrawals, can cause people to go into withdrawals if they have another opioid in their system.
Yes.
So, if someone is taking methadone every day and then they just take a strip of Suboxone,
It will throw them into the worst part
they're
of a
gonna feel
withdrawal
very, very
within
bad
an hour.
for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And anyways, the so
By the way, we're going to Narcan you right now. No.
yeah, it's basically what's
Right.
taking
Yeah,
place. But yeah, I didn't want to deal with Matt because the thing with both of those, methadone and buprenorphine, is I didn't want to have to take anything every day, right?
Right. Well, you feel like you've given up.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Maybe,
It
I
wasn't
don't
so
know.
much giving up; it's just I didn't want to take anything. I wanted
Right.
to be all the way sober.
Right.
Not to mention the after effect and having to go through opioid
Yeah.
withdrawals that can be
and-
much worse than
And that's
the
the other
actual
thing.
drugs.
And that's the other thing with those two is that they have a very long half life. If we want to get back into the medical stuff,
Yeah.
So anything you take has a what is termed a half life, but it basically just means how long it's in your system, how long it has an effect, and those have very long half lives, longer than 24 hours. In fact, 24
Right.
to 48 for methadone. 24 to 36 for buprenorphine. So because of that long half-life, they take longer to get out of your system. So when you do want to detox yourself, a heroin detox is extremely uncomfortable, but it's only going to be physically uncomfortable for 5 to 7 days at
Right.
worst.
Well, I mean, it can be longer than that, just depending
You'll
on how...
feel some
but yeah.
residuals,
Yeah.
for a little while, for a couple of weeks, sometimes even a couple of months. You
Sure.
get weird waves of it. But the acute withdrawal phase,
Yeah.
as they call it, the nonstop,
Shitting yourself.
yeah,
everything
the
else.
nonstop, I don't want to do anything, can't move, or
Right.
whatever, about 5 to 7 days with methadone or buprenorphine, it's quite a bit longer.
Yeah.
Quite a
I
bit
went
longer.
through it, and it was just on a 12 milligram deal. It was probably about 28 days. for sure.
Buprenorphine's a little shorter than methadone.
Yep, methadone
Can be very long.
Well, so, and because full disclosure, you are currently
On methadone.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
currently on methadone. So I made the decision to.
well, because you were doing squirrely shit, like fucking taking Imodium, dude. So
Yeah,
it's like,
sure. Look, it basically was a decision to stop the damage that
Right.
was being caused, right?
Right.
And when I say damage, I don't mean physical damage to myself, although that too.
Sure.
I'm, I don't know. I guess it's just I'm that way. To be honest with you, I've never really cared about what happened to me during the deal.
As long as you stayed high.
What bothered me was when I saw it affecting other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
'Cause
parents, my
the people that actually
wife,
give a shit about
my
you.
children.
Yeah.
That's what,
Right.
that's what bothers me. And I wanted to stop the damage. I was
Sure.
hurting people that I loved.
Right.
And that loved me. And I, felt like I was being stubborn by not giving Matt a try.
Okay.
Felt like I was being very stubborn. And like we were talking about earlier off air, it was time to stop thinking I knew better
Right.
for a second.
Yep.
And listen to some people that were telling me, dude, you are, you need to get on Matt or you need to go to like a 6 month to a 1 year treatment center.
Sure. And that's tough to do now that you have a kid
Yeah.
as well and you're co-parenting.
And I kind of looked at what they were saying and objectively was like, yeah, that's probably about right.
Right.
That's probably about right. Look, man, I've been addicted to opiates, physically addicted since I was 13 years old.
Mhm.
And there's some damage done to the brain.
No. Okay.
when
So
you do that. And it's going to take a second.
I have a question though. Knowing yourself, do you worry about abusing, what you're currently on?
I mean, I could.
Yeah, but I
guess I could. That
yeah,
was
but
my
I mean,
goal.
that's But I mean,
but it's not my goal. So
okay. Well, is it ever really your goal?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. If you're going back to using, absolutely, that's
Yeah.
the goal. I'd like to get as much as I can get, sir.
Right. right.
Yeah.
If I've got 100 in the account, I'm spending 100.
Yeah.
I'm not spending 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the goal. When you let it rip. So yeah, I'm not letting it rip. That's not my goal. I'm not trying to find the magic number to get as messed up on methadone as I can get. In fact, quite the opposite. I went into it. I want to find the number, the lowest number possible. Because, like we talked about, at some point I'm going to have to come off of this, or I would like to come off of this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a process in of itself.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, do you have any kind of plan for that?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Is the plan going to work?
Yeah. Well, what is the plan?
Yeah, the plan is basically to stay on this for probably about a year. Okay. And then and this is not a me plan necessarily as much as this is kind of what is done when with Matt. Okay. About 1 to 2 years is the idea is to get to a dose, stay stable on a dose for about 1 to 2 years. And then you begin to taper off of that dose.
Right.
The tapering process, depending upon what number you settle on, is how long that's going to be, right?
Yeah.
So if you end up at 100 milligrams, it's going to take a long time to taper down.
Dude, I knew some people that are taking like 100 fucking 80.
I know.
It's just absolutely
What are you,
insane.
bad deal.
if you don't mind, what dosage are you at?
65.
Okay.
Yeah, that's low, dude.
Okay.
So 65 milligrams a day turned out to be a pretty good number for me.
And how do you?
How do you come to that
no,
number?
no. How do you ingest it, or how do you take methadone?
You drink it. It's a liquid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they quit doing the pills, right?
I've never even seen a pill.
Yeah.
I've heard of them. But
Yeah,
I've
I had a
never
friend
seen
who
one.
used to get him for
Now,
pain management back
do
then.
you actually go to the methadone
I
clinic?
do, yeah. You
and
go there
they-
and you ingest it there,
Right.
and then they give you some to take home
for weekends and
yeah,
shit like that.
weekends or
okay. All right.
whatever. The longer you're there and on it and producing clean urinalysis for them, you get more and more take.
Right.
homes.
Yeah, they trust you
And,
a little
and
bit
correct
more.
me if I'm wrong, but the whole idea between like the year or two at the stable dose and then the taper down is kind of for you to softly adjust back to real life and clean up some of the
Yeah.
shit that you wouldn't be able to.
Or
you have proved that you haven't been able to in the past. when you were-
Absolutely. So there's some benefits to MAT. Okay, there are. For one, somebody like me, I had a lot of wreckage, and it's very hard to not look at all of the wreckage at once and say, "Man, I can never clean all of this up."
Right.
You get on MAT and you get a little bit of a buffer of time to maybe clean some of that up.
Right.
Get out of maybe a financial hole you might find yourself
Yeah.
in because of addiction,
Sure.
or clean up some relationships that have gone south with
Right.
children or whatever. So ideally, yeah, and then also some healing might take place in your brain.
Right.
Part of what happens in the brain to a drug addict is because of the constant spikes of the dopamine and taking all that norepinephrine and serotonin and all of these chemicals that your brain needs to be stable,
Right.
to maintain homeostasis mood-wise.
See why I call him the professor?
Well, he's man.
He's very
But
knowledgeable.
yeah, I know he knows. He
Yeah.
knows too. But those spikes, when you are taking drugs all the time, you're way up here, and then
Yeah.
the drugs wear off, and you're way down here. And you're never supposed to be that high or that low. You're
Yeah,
supposed
and
to
your
be
body can't produce any of those chemicals naturally because
exactly.
Of the,
And so you stabilize your body. You stabilize your body physically. You stabilize your body chemically. And some healing can take place, and hopefully some spiritual healing as well can take place. You can feel a little bit better about yourself from a self-esteem standpoint.
Right.
So and you've got some better habits going after
Yeah.
a year or two.
Right.
Coming straight out of lying and stealing and hustling and whatever.
Right.
Now
can be very daunting to try and
be.
live an honest lifstyle
Yeah. And
straight out of that.
and now maybe you're stable financially and
Right.
and all of those things. So that's the idea.
So
behind
what would you say to like somebody? Okay, so devil's advocate here. Well, why can't he just quit? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. The easiest answer to that is he's very sick.
Right.
I'm very sick. Look, this is a mental illness. Primarily, this is a mental illness. There's some physical aspects to it, and recovery. We talk about some spiritual aspects to it too, but
Right.
we'll focus on the mental part. This is a mental illness. That's like telling a schizophrenic to stop listening to the voices. Good luck.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Sure.
It's the exact same as doing that, basically.
Right.
If I'm giving an honest answer to that question, I don't know. I don't know I don't know why I can't just quit. I really wish I could, believe me.
Yeah.
I've been fighting this battle a long time.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but it's just not something that's very
Are you
easy.
beating yourself up a little bit for having to go, Matt?
Yeah, I wish it wasn't the
Yeah.
route I had to go.
Yeah.
And only because I'm going to have to come off of it at some time, and that's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I wish it was the route I didn't have to go. But the answer to that question is it's not that's not a skill I got.
Right.
You might as well tell me to go dunk a basketball.
Right. Well, hold on. Which you could if you were on, what was it? LSD?
LSD.
I love this story.
I was a
about-
lot younger too.
No, but I love this story about. We just went from really serious, but I love
Yeah,
this
sure.
story.
Well-
that reminded me. Nolen had superhuman, or thought he had superhuman abilities when on LSD. So he
That's
did.
a perfectly logical conclusion.
More so, I didn't think it.
I did.
I exhibited superhuman.
I know. So tell
Skills.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, well, no, look, I when I was younger, that has a lot to do with my physical abilities too. These would not be there today,
Right.
in my 40s. But, anyways, yeah, the idea LSD opens your mind up, man,
Right.
and opens up your. And
Right.
I thought that I felt like it heightened my senses, and I was very high on LSD, thinking
Yeah.
all this stuff. But I was like, no, sharp as a tack. I can
Right.
feel like I could, throw nothing but strikes if I was throwing a baseball.
Right.
Or, anyways, but I did, it certainly took away some inhibition, I guess. And I did dunk basketball.
Right.
Hell
Which
yeah.
is not something I could do
10
sober.
And on 10 foot.
Yeah, on a 10-foot goal.
Yeah. Okay.
And at the time, I could get close to dunking it. The rim would reject me
right.
most of the time. And I remember there were some
But
games.
no,
I
but
played
wasn't there a tree flip as well?
in. Yeah, and, wall
flip.
Yeah,
So
to run up a wall and do a backflip off of the wall. I did do that too, which
Right.
is not something sober I would have had the guts to
Right.
do. Really,
Yeah.
is what it is. It's
Right.
really the guts. But yeah, I don't know. I just hey, part of the lot, and this is funny, and I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
like, ooh, drugs are never fun. I had a lot of fun
Right.
doing drugs. That was some of it. But yeah, I had this attitude for a long time. Drugs made me better. They made me nicer. They made me more patient. They made me a better employee. They made me I felt that. I
Yeah.
felt that to my core.
Yeah.
Felt that.
Sure.
And that's part of the lie that if you really, can get an addict to be honest about what's going on with them, alcoholic or an addict. I mean, you could say the same when you think about alcohol. I bet you thought it made you a better DJ.
Oh yeah, dude. Like
Made you more friendly.
Exactly.
Made you
yeah.
better with the ladies. Made you, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. That part of that is hard to give up sometimes.
Well, I mean, what I figured out for me, I was self-medicating because I had severe anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
And it was just part of the drinking was just a perk of the job. You know, that's why you sign up, or one of the reasons. And then once I realized that the temporary solution was the problem, then I was like, and that happened in rehab because I was like, oh, it's funny how since I'm not drinking, my panic attacks are going away. And I never thought, and people had told me that. I mean, my wife had told me that plenty of times, but I just never, until I experienced it or got in an environment where I could experience that, I couldn't see out of it, dude. I couldn't see out of the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is. It's hard to see out of in the middle of it. And that's why it's so important to get into a room full of or get some support system of people that can see out of it.
Right.
Because you can't.
Right.
Get around some people that have either been through it or at very least have a different perspective than you do.
Sure.
So can help you get through that.
Well, I would love to have you back on, dude.
Oh, well, no, I'll be.
Nope, never
no.
happening again.
Can't do it. I got to something.
Yeah. No, but I would love I would love to have you come on because you're very knowledgeable, and I think you could almost quote the entire Big Book.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but I it's a good book. I've read it a lot.
Sure. Well, I would love to get on.
People should check it out.
I think I would love to have you back on, maybe 2-3 months down the road and see how the mat is going.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Yeah.
It's it is still really early on.
Yeah.
For me.
And then we could also talk about like the fun stuff like the Target story and the DVDs. That's a good one.
Got to get the big lick. The big lick that day. Yeah. No, sure. I'll come back on. That.
Okay.
I'll be around.
Well, we would love to have you back. And
Thanks for having me.
And as I always tell my people, my friends that go back out, I'm glad you're not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. So anybody you'd like to shout out at the moment?
No one I'd like to shout out
Except for
personally.
EJ.
Well, we talked about EJ.
Yeah.
She knows. No, no one really to shout out other than like the people in my corner. Thanks for staying in my corner.
Parents. Well, and
Not an easy one to be in.
I always,
but it is appreciated.
I am in your corner, and I am always rooting for you at a distance, as much as I can, since you live in Weatherford.
Yeah, true.
But I
It is
actually
bad
do
boys.
give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And care about you.
And ditto, man.
Yeah.
Glad to see you're still hanging in there and doing well too.
Right.
Say hi to the missus for me.
I will for sure. But yeah, dude, thanks for coming out and thanks for being transparent.
Yeah,
'Cause,
of course.
I mean, dude, I'm gonna get some mileage out of the Imodium, dude.
Yeah. Like I said, I hesitate
stuff,
to
dude.
tell, but
Yeah.
you know, hey, it's
It
one of
is
those
what
things.
it is, dude.
Yeah.
It's honesty.
There's
All right, Chadwick, as always, a pleasure. A pleasure, sir.
Perfect timing because the camera's been skipping for the last 10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Because their Wi-Fi is apparently slow right now. I don't know what they're doing here.
Sweet.
it might be all this porn I'm downloading on.
It could
Hell
be.
yeah.
Could be.
My bad.
But anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Next week, we got our friends from Mantra Recovery. If you're from Texas, it's Mantra Recovery, and that is CJ and Adam. They are always good guests, and they will be on next week. But
Yep.
be sure, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and leave a comment. Leave a real comment.
Real comment.
Real comment. It's okay.
It's like, like
okay.
hey, Kelly, you're old.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, Chad, your beard is fucking dope.
Or Chad,
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
just go, or Chad, you're fat.
Yeah.
You're husky.
Husky boy summer, dude.
Husky boy summer. That's what it is.
Is that what summer it is?
Yeah.
Good to know.
But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety because if there was, we would all take too many.
Yep.
Activate.